Alright, so today, 7th of July. If you read the chat in Discord, called out obviously a nice winning move. As I said it before, I think London high is going to be high of day and we'll trade lower all day. And as you can see, that is what we've done. Right, that's London high here. I said that pre-market. So how did I know that, and how could you enter? Right, well, first of all, it's fairly obvious that we're bearish, right? If you look at the 4-hour chart, we were displacing lower towards these we've got mini low resistance here. And then we had previous week low that was untapped, but we now taken, right? So it's not, you don't have to be a genius to figure out we are overall bearish. On the 15-minute, we see that Asia trades lower. We see London trades higher. And what does London do, right? It doesn't just trade higher to nowhere. It manipulates into an hourly gap. And then we get 15-minute displacement away from the hourly gap, given this inverse, right, showing us that it's a reaction. Now, because of that, what we want is we want London high to be our protected high, right? We think we've displaced away from a gap using our PRB model. You know, if we want to continue bearish, we want to see this range get rebalanced and then continue lower, right? So if you mark out this London range from here to here, what do? We trade up higher, tap 0.786. We make an SMT with London high, which I will show you on ES. If I go on the 15-minute, okay, I'm on the 15-minute. London high is somewhere, well, it's a bit higher on ES. London high is like here, as you can see, and it just gets taken, right? Obviously it's taken before this, but it gets taken here, right? And it doesn't on NQ, so that's good confirmation that NQ wants to sell off, right? Then before pre-market, we start to see a displacement away from this range, right? You know, so this is our rebalanced high that wants to now be our rebalanced protected high. We displace away from it. So we now want to see these both intact, right? We build a bearish 15-minute gap here. So this is our narrative to go lower from off open, right? Now coming into open, I'll go on the 30-second because this is where I took my entry on demo. I'm not trading funded accounts at the moment. As you can see, we manipulate into the gap and then we have a strong wick rejection with this 30-second candle, and then we displace lower with this one. And this is where I actually entered, right? Yes, there's a 30-second gap here. Do I need to wait for the IFVG? No, right? And the reason is because displacement is enough, right? It's something I am experimenting with a bit more, but you do not need the full IFVG close once the whole narrative's there, and then you have a displacement, right? Displacement is a good enough entry for me, but if you wanted to be safe, you could have waited and got in on this one here, because that's close enough to just be the close. Or if you really wanted the close, you could have got down there, but as you can see, it's just not as good of an entry. I got in here. For me, this was enough, right? And then we did what we wanted to do, right? We've now got a new range. So what do we want to do? Rebalance this range, bang, tap 0.705, and then displace lower, right? Now for targets, like I say, for this type of day, obviously the obvious target was this low, but it was only 0.7R, but that was like guaranteed to hit. The less guaranteed target, but still a good target, is previous week low for 3.88R, which as you can see does get hit nicely, right? Which is what I held to. For trade management, I went break even after we rebalanced here, and then after we come and then we took this low, because this was the start of the move for the rebalance. As you can see, we've got this whole range here. We come up, rebalance it to 0.5 and then trade lower. So once we take this low, we should not want to come back and rebalance this range. So our stop loss is protected at break even. So going break even is absolutely fine. And then you just hold to previous week low for just under 4R, which is very nice. So I hope that makes sense. Starting on the higher time frame with bearish order flow, seeing the London manipulation, seeing the SMT at the high. A lot of people did take longs today and actually lost, which I'm guessing they took longs on this like retracement here, which I do get, but I also don't get. Obviously, yes, we swept this 15-minute low, we had London high, but obviously, you know, London high can be a good target and it is a good draw on liquidity, but only with context, right? In this context, it should not get taken, because of how how everything's set up and how the higher time frame's bearish and how that the 15-minute is manipulation. It shouldn't be taken, right? And we've got the SMT, it shouldn't be taken. We didn't need to take it. ES has taken it anyway. So longs were pretty silly in my opinion to anyone who did take them. But you know, it's not the end of the world if you did. I think there's probably a 30-second inverse here, or there was the CISD, whatever people took. But yeah, obviously that was them getting tricked. That's just the rebalance, right? So that was today's trade. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah.